All right, great to have you along for breakfast at 7 minutes away from 7. Well, it came as a bit of a surprise to many. The country's trains and inter-island ferries are back in the hands of us, New Zealanders. But is it a step towards better freight and passenger services or a waste of public money? It certainly hasn't impressed former ACT Party leader Richard Prebble, who was one of the driving forces behind the rail privatisation in the first place, and he joins me now. Richard, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Is this just about politicking, or does it make some sense?
Oh, I think it's not even politicking. It's an example of the complete lack of any commercial nous of this Labor government. The deal doesn't stack up under any of the criteria they give. First, rail is not actually, it doesn't have a much better carbon print than trucks, and the reason for that is that, of course, all rail journeys involve a truck journey to the rail station and a truck journey the other end, so that's the first one. The second, the real reason they bought it, which they've sort of admitted, is that they bought the track without reaching an access agreement with the Aussie toll company. And after 4 years, they couldn't agree on what share the train should pay. So their solution to that is to then pay out some more money and buy the whole lot. They haven't worked out who should run it. So the fellas who haven't been able to make a commercial agreement for 4 years, that's on track, who don't know anything about railways, it's a very political board, it's got the president of the Labor Party, people like that on it, they're going to run the railways. And the other arrogant thing about it is that the government's owned railways for 100 years. There's been about 40 governments in their time, and none of them have run a railway successfully, so why should the Labor government be able to do it?
Well, to be fair, they're going into this with this mission statement. The Prime Minister said yesterday, we're not going into this to make money. So, from that point of view, at least she's being honest.
Still succeed. Last time, when I became Minister of Railways was losing $1 million a day. Today's dollars, that'd be about $3 million a day. But let me give you an example of how loony this is. The railway at the moment owns the biggest trucking company in New Zealand, TransLink. It's the biggest one. Under this deal, Toll keeps that, so they got it for free. But then the government decided to subsidise the Aussie trucking company. They're going to get all their terminals for 6 years for free. So here's a Labor government saying, we want to promote rail. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to give the biggest trucking company in New Zealand to the Aussies. Then we're going to subsidise it for 6 years. I mean, free terminals, that's worth multi-million dollars.
Absolutely. So what they're actually doing is creating a very uneven playing field for other trucking companies as well.
Oh, and for themselves. Who are told going to pitch the freight off?
Yeah.
They're going to use the subsidy to pitch it off the rail.
All right.
And you and I are going to pay for it.
Yeah. Richard, well, we've been paying for everything else, haven't we? So we may as well continue. Let's just talk dollars and cents. Well, there's no cents. Let's just talk dollars. $665 million they have paid for it, with a book value of $430 million. How does that work?
Well, they paid over the odds, haven't they? And even Cullen has agreed that he is paying too much for the railway. And I would say, actually, that the rail isn't worth much more today than what Toll paid for it. So it can't be worth $1 over $400 million. So we're paying this $240 million off. But you're forgetting the book value includes the country's biggest trucking company. So that's another $100 million. And then there's a subsidy they're getting by getting free terminals for 6 years. We've got to chuck in another $50 million.
All right, let's just have a look at where we go now. John Key has already obviously committed, National have committed to no asset sales in the first term. But irrespective of that, you'd almost have to give it away to get rid of it, wouldn't you?
Sure, well, I've got a political solution for that, yeah. Since when was railways an asset?
All right, that's a nice escape route. It's a nice escape route. Just very quickly, you wouldn't like to suggest someone to be the chairman of the new company, would you?
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be the president of the Labor Party. I mean, he's made such a wonderful job of that. Why shouldn't he run the railways
Fantastic.
as well?
So it's Mike Williams to run rail. Thank you very much.
That on track is the most political board that the government's got. It's got an ex-Labor minister on it. It's got some trade unionists and other people who've been selected for their various political correctness. And now they're going to run the country's railway.
Fantastic. Richard Prebble, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.